So welcome to the training, how to break into six-figure data and AI careers. So we're talking data management. Someone keeps on muting themselves. Okay, everyone's unmuted. So welcome to the training, how to break into six-figure data and AI careers. So we're talking data management, data governance, and AI governance, even with zero tech background. And we're going to be exploring the CDMP certification pathway. So I'd like you to put in the chat, where are you joining us from? Can you please put that in the chat? Where are you joining us from? Okay, I see Mississauga, Canada, Dallas, Texas. Where are you joining us from? Okay, awesome, awesome. Montreal, awesome. Alberta. So as much as I can, I will be from time to time just to get a feel of where everyone has joined from. Okay, I see Ontario. Oh, Nigeria. Awesome. That's lovely. Okay, where are you joining us from? So please put that in the chat. So if you've been watching from the sidelines as AI and data roles explode, and you're feeling like you've missed the boat because you don't have a tech degree or coding skills, I'm here to tell you this. You're actually in the perfect position to break in right now. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this in the next 60 minutes. I always like to do a check for who this training is for because it's not for everybody, but I always love to check that I have the right people in the room. So this training is for you if you feel undervalued, underpaid, or overqualified in your current role. So is this you? Please feel free to put a yes in the chat if that is how you're feeling. I understand that speaking to a lot of immigrants, I'm an immigrant myself, speaking to a lot of immigrants, one thing that we find is that we move into a new country, whether we've been here for 5 years, 10 years, but it's the same story, or even 1 year. You move to a new country and then you're forced to take on survival jobs. There's nothing wrong with survival jobs. There's nothing wrong with taking a pay cut for a while, to pay the bills, right? Usually a lot of bills. However, it's not the best to stay stuck for a very long time. It's not the best to not have an exit plan. So this training is for you if you're looking to have an exit plan, or not just to have a plan, but to actually implement an exit plan. You want to move away from being underpaid. You want to move away from being undervalued. And then you're feeling like you're overqualified for the role, where you currently find yourself. This is not the dream that you have for yourself. Then this is for you. So if you want a higher paying career with better work-life balance, I see a few people writing yes in the chat. With better work-life balance and benefits, you're an immigrant, whether you're in Canada, the US, or the UK, and you want a better life, but you've been forced to take on these low-paying jobs, it's stressing you out, if this is you, put a yes in the chat. If you're tired of applying for jobs, and you keep getting that rejection email, this training is definitely for you. If you want to transition into tech, but you don't have coding skills, you don't have a tech degree, you have a background in something else, and you're wondering if you can actually pivot to tech. You've heard all these great stories about tech. You don't know if it's true, you don't know if it can even work for you, then this is for you. If you're worried about AI changing the job market, and then you want to stay ahead. Yes, everyone knows about AI. AI is transforming everything, and then there's that fear of, is AI going to replace me? How do I stay ahead this AI with this AI boom? If that is you, you're in the right place. If you also want to add data skills as a competitive advantage, so you've heard about AI and data, you know that, yes, I think as at the 2020, there was a famous quote, data is the new oil. So if you're one of those people who know what are data skills, because you do understand that data can be an advantage, then you in the right place. If you've been trying to actually transform your life, then you are definitely in the right place. And please put a yes in the chat. Now, this training is not for everybody. As much as we're saying yes, even for people who haven't typed yes, you're probably saying yes in your heart. For if you're someone who's looking for a get rich quick scheme, this is not for you. In new skills, it is not for you, because if you're going to learning those skills, if you're not someone who's open to continuous learning and growth, this is not for you. If you're not ready to put in the work that it takes to transition into six-figure roles, then you're going to know why data management, data governance, and AI governance are fast growing and in. You should align your career with roles that grow with AI. You're also going to know how you can leverage your previous experience in any industry to break into data management, data, and AI governance. And then you would know my proven land method, which will help you get called for interviews, sell yourself powerfully, and negotiate six-figure salaries. As a matter of fact, one of my mentees or one of my students reached out to me this morning. I'm going to share. Oh, someone says my audio keeps cutting off. Let me change my internet. Oh, thank you for letting me know that, Suman. I don't know if it's just with you or if everyone else is experiencing me that way, but let me quickly change to a different network provider. Oh, thank you for letting me know. Okay, let me quickly do that. I'm gonna stop sharing quickly so I can do that. Thank you for your patience as I try to change to a different network provider. Okay, I've done it. Can you hear me? Can you please put in the chat if you can hear me clearly now? I just changed. Thank you. All right. Thank you for confirming that. Thank you very much. Okay, so you're going to know my proven land method, which will help you get called for interviews, sell yourself powerfully, and negotiate six-figure salaries. And yes, I was about to share that one of my students just reached out to me. We have a cohort that's running, and they're in their 7th week. And a student has been in the interview process. And this morning, she shared the good news with me less than 30 minutes, actually. Less than 30 minutes ago, she reached out to me to let me know that she has actually signed the offer. I'll share some details. I'll try to blow her information as much as possible and share some of the details later on. But I'm really so excited. That has lifted my mood so much this morning. So yes, the step-by-step roadmap which professionals like you have used to secure high-paying roles across the globe, and then how Tech Thrivers can help you position as a six-figure data and AI professional in 8 weeks. So these are the things you're going to learn or know by the end of this masterclass. So my promise to you today is I will deliver as much value as I can in this free 60 minutes masterclass. Nothing I teach is based on theory. I broke into tech successfully. I transformed my life and that of my family. And now I teach people how to do the same. So everything I'm going to teach you today works. It's worked for me. It's worked for my family. And it has worked for a lot of my students. All right. So basically everything you need to know so you can grow your income to over $100,000 using proven, repeatable systems instead of guesswork, failure, and fake it till you make it tactics. That is what I will be sharing with you today. So this training is brought to you by Tech Thrivers Consulting. We're a Canadian education technology company. We empower non-tech professionals to launch high-paying tech careers through upskilling, career coaching, and mentoring. We are a Microsoft Training Services partner. We've trained hundreds of professionals in the last few years. Our students typically come from 5 different countries, so Canada, US, UK, Australia, Nigeria. We have several career tracks. So we have data governance and data management, data analytics, business analysis, cybersecurity, and AI. And also, the average starting salary that we help our students get is $90,000. I always like to be modest and tell the students that they should expect anywhere from $90,000, but a lot of students go ahead to get over $100,000 in their first role. And even the students, I'm going to be sharing her testimonial with you later on today. She did sign an offer for over $100,000. So yes, that is what we do. So we don't just train. What we're here to do is to help you transform your career. So if this is you looking to transform your career, then you're in the right place. So let me introduce you to the leadership and advisory team for Tech Thrivers. So I'm Jennifer. I'm the founder of Tech Thrivers. I'm the founder and CEO of Tech Thrivers. We have Christopher as a member of our team. He's the co-founder. He brings in over 20 years experience in government, working in data environments, leading projects. We have Dr. Eunice, who's in the UK. She's our director of studies. She has over 20 years experience. She worked with Shell Petroleum for over 20 years. Now she's a professor in a university in the UK, and she brings all that expertise to our team. We have Gregory. Gregory is in the UK as well. He's a business strategy and innovation consultant. He has over 20 years experience leading enterprise data and AI innovation initiatives across finance, banking, healthcare, professional services. We have Anthony as well. Anthony is a project management consultant. And then we have Francis. Francis is a senior AI business analyst. So together we all run Tech Thrivers Consulting. At the end of last year, we expanded our reach into Africa, so specifically Nigeria. So we have Ivy Spark Tech, which is our African arm of Tech Thrivers. But we're all doing the same thing, which is helping non-tech professionals transition into tech careers. So here's a bit about my background, and I'm going to share why I always talk about my background. I know that a lot of people that I meet with, a lot of people who come into the tech space, a lot of people who even attend our programs come from non-tech backgrounds. Even we find that people who even have tech degrees, many of them have never worked in tech. So they may have had like a computer science degree or some tech degree or some science degree, but they've not worked with that degree before. They've not worked with that training. They've done one training or the other. They've not worked with it. So basically, a lot of people that I mentor and coach come in without tech backgrounds. They come in from a different field. And so that's why I share my experience, because I started off as an educator. I started off as a Montessori educator. So these are different photos from over the years working as an educator. I was an education consultant. I founded Teach Always and then the Teachers Hub. I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. I worked with UNICEF as an early childhood consultant, and then I founded my Tutorland. So I've done a lot of work and continue to do a lot of work in the education space. I have South Pacific School, so we have 2 centers in Nigeria. So we have Ruby Center and Ivory Center. Founded South Pacific School in 2014. So this was me in the education space. I was highly involved in the education space, still involved in the education space because I still run my schools and I still run some of my some of my education businesses. I still run those. So I've trained over 10,000 career professionals in the past 8 years, and I've gained recognition for my work from the federal government of Nigeria, from Tony Elumelu Foundation, Farafina, UNICEF, Lagos Business School, and She Leads Africa. But then I migrated to Alberta, Canada, which is where I currently reside. And I was able to transition into tech. And so today, I'm a data consultant. I lead a team of data and AI professionals in one of the biggest organizations in Canada. I'm a data and AI consultant for SMEs in North America and Africa. I work fully remote, and I love to talk about working fully remote because I know a lot of people look forward to working remotely. A lot of people ask me all the time about if there are still remote opportunities out there. And I love to say that yes, there are still a lot of remote opportunities out there. Although compared to when the pandemic started or the early years after the pandemic, there are fewer roles. A lot more companies want people coming into the office. So you find a lot of hybrid roles, but there still exists a lot of remote roles. So if that's something that you're looking forward to doing when you transition to tech, then I just want you to know that that is absolutely possible for you. I'm also an official trainer for Microsoft, so that's MCT. I train companies on the use of Microsoft technologies. I see someone has a question. I'm going to take questions later on. I'm a tech career coach. I take people by hand through a step-by-step process to earning six figures in data and AI careers. I see you have questions. Please, if you have questions, just put your questions in the chat. I just don't want to lose my train of thoughts. So put your questions in the chat. At some point, I'm going to take all the questions, but just put them in the chat so you don't also forget your questions. So I have clients that earn anywhere from $85,000 to $250,000. I hold the following certifications. CDMP, that is Certified Data Management Professional, and that's a certification I will be talking about today. I'm DCAM certified as well. That is Data Management Capability Assessment Model. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, like I mentioned earlier. So I am a certified business analysis professional, a Microsoft certified Power BI data analyst. I'm also a certified project management professional and a certified Scrum Master. So the focus today is the CDMP that we will be talking about. So all of this just goes to show, for me, it's not about accumulating certifications. I personally, because I come from an education background, certifications mean a lot to me, but it's not about just accumulating these. So I don't want anybody on the call to feel like, oh my God, if I don't have certifications, that means I can't go far. That is not the truth. Because certifications alone, I love to tell my students this, certifications alone will not get you the job. You need to have experience, you need to have the skills to back up that certification. So if you're one who wants to just accumulate certifications, be thinking that that's what will help you get a job, not necessarily. But the CDMP is what we will be talking about today. So I'm the founder of Tech Tribals. I'm also founder of Ivy Spark Tech, which is a data and AI consulting and training company in Africa. Our mission really is simple, to raise a global workforce of data and AI professionals. So that is what we're about. That is where we're here today. So this has been my journey through the years. I started off as an educator in Nigeria, then I became an immigrant in Canada, then I became a senior data analyst and then a data consultant. And finally, I launched my company, Tech Tribals Consulting. And I've been doing this for a number of years. Now, you may be anywhere on this journey. Yes, you may not necessarily have the same job titles, or it may not necessarily be that you are in Canada. I know a lot of you are in the US, and someone says they're in Nigeria. We probably have one or two people from the UK on the call. So irrespective of where you are, you're likely somewhere on this journey. Maybe you're a fresh immigrant, or maybe you've been in the new country for a while, for maybe 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. The point is, if you're here on this call, then it's because you're trying to transition into a better career path, a career path that grows with AI. So I'm going to be sharing with you today how I transitioned from education into tech. I worked with several companies, and then before I started my own company in data and AI. So I'll be sharing with you the process that you can also replicate so you can get the similar results or even a better result than I did. So here's the problem that we're here to solve. Here's a problem that my company tries to solve, or my company is working towards solving. From a lot of consultations that I've had with several people, or hundreds of people, I would say, one thing I find is that talented professionals are being left out of the tech economy. And the reason they are being left out of the tech economy is one, they don't know where to start. The entry points are hidden. Everybody knows it's no longer, it's not hidden that tech is a great career path to get into. There are different fields in tech, and it's not hidden. That's not news. I don't think there's anybody on this call that is just hearing about tech for the first time. However, what is hidden is that the entry points, how do you get in? That's what's hidden. That's not what's easily accessible to people. Another problem we're here to solve is that a lot of people think that they need to code for them to work in tech. And as a result of that, they don't even bother applying. Then many people think that, or many people don't realize that their existing skills are already worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's something that I love to say or share with my mentees, the fact that when you transition to tech, you do not need to lose your background. You do not need all the years of experience or all the skills you have accumulated over the years. You don't need to throw those away. You're not going to be starting from scratch. Okay, your existing skills are valuable and you're going to be leveraging those skills. Those skills are actually an advantage for you. And then finally, a lot of people are waiting to feel ready. They are waiting so many years to feel ready. If I do a little survey now from everyone on the call, I'm sure there are people here who they've been wanting to transition since 2020. Some people since earlier. Some people every year, beginning of the year, they tell themselves, this is the year I'm going to transition to tech. And somehow they don't make it happen because they're waiting to feel perfectly ready. They're always waiting to feel like, okay, you know what? I want to have that much time. Oh, I'm very busy. I don't have the time. I can't make the time. You're waiting to feel ready. Now, the thing is, while you're waiting to feel perfectly ready, a lot of people who are less qualified than you, who have even less time on their hands than you do, are actually making that transition. So it's not about waiting to feel perfectly ready because there would never be that perfect moment to get started. So hopefully today we're going to be working towards fixing some of these things. And I will be talking about some of the lies about breaking into tech or breaking into data and AI careers that may be holding you back. As a matter of fact, I would like to hear from you. You can just put that in the chat. What is stopping you? Why haven't you transitioned before now? Because I believe that for a lot of you on this call, you've heard about tech before. So you're not hearing tech from me for the first time. You've likely heard about data before. You're not hearing about data for the first time. So why haven't you made that transition before now? I would like to just take maybe one or two responses. You can just type that in the chat quickly. What has been stopping you from making that transition? Like I mentioned, I love having interactive sessions, right? So that because right now all I do, I see your names, I don't see faces. So when you chat with me, when you write something in the chat, then I know who I am. I know that I'm not alone. Okay, I see someone says the thoughts, coding is needed, SQL is needed, so I stay away. Exactly. I see another person saying knowing how to, and that's what I say, the entry point is hidden. It's not that you haven't heard about tech. I see time, lack of proper info, exactly, because there's so much information out there. Someone says the entry point was my issue. Exactly, exactly. So feel free to write in the chat what has been holding you back from getting into tech. Someone says, I used to think it's tough and didn't get more info. All right, so now let's talk about some of the myths that are holding people back. One is you need to code to work in tech, and I already saw that someone wrote that. Okay, someone says I'm in tech as a BA, but I need to upskill and dive into data governance and analysis. Yes, awesome. I always have BAs come on my training. So, and I say BAs are welcome to data governance. BAs do really well with data governance. All right. Okay. So people say you need to code, or people think you need to code to work in tech. Yes, there are tech roles that need coding. If you want to be a software developer, you need to learn how to code. A database administrator, you need coding. However, there are roles in tech that do not require you to write any line of code. So you have roles like data management or data governance, you have business analysis, you have data analytics, but I like to say this in code. Data analytics is more of, there is some coding in data analytics, there's SQL. It's just that it's a light coding language. It's not something difficult. It's very easy to pick up. So the point is data governance, data management, business analysis, even AI governance, these are roles that do not require you to write a line of code. So if you've been worried about, oh, I can't break in because of coding, then know that there are roles for you. Data governance does not require you to code. Another myth is AI is replacing data jobs. The truth is, AI is not replacing data professionals. It's increasing demand for structured data as AI is built on data. AI needs clean data. AI needs data policies. AI needs data governance. AI needs ethical oversight. And with AI, it is garbage in, garbage out. And that creates higher demand for certain data roles. This is one point I'm going to talk about more in detail as we move along. Another myth is you need a computer science degree. And that's why I start by sharing my background. I don't have a computer science degree. A lot of my students, a lot of my mentees who have gone ahead to get jobs do not have computer science degrees. Most hiring managers do not really care about that degree. They care about skill demonstration. They care about proof of experience, not the degree. They care about whether you can show them, whether you can prove to them that you can actually help the organization solve the business problems that they have. So hiring managers want to see projects, they want to see portfolios, they want to see case studies, and in some situations, they want to see your certifications as well. And so I teach my students how they can leverage their previous experience as well as build projects, portfolios, and get the required certification. Another myth is you must start from scratch. See, if you've worked in teaching, administration, operations, finance, audits, HR, healthcare, government, you have most likely dealt with policies, standards, documentation, process controls, record keeping, risk management, accuracy, compliance, privacy, data protection, accountability. You've most likely dealt with any of these, even stakeholder management, working with people, communication. You've most likely worked in this capacity. And if you have, it means that you already have some skills that are needed for data governance. Hence, I like to say it means that you're already thinking like a data governance professional. So when you transition into tech, specifically, when you transition into data governance, you're not changing who you are. You're elevating your experience into tech. And in our program, I teach you how you can actually map your experiences so that you don't start from scratch. Another myth is it takes 3 to 4 years to break into this field. People think that you need so many years for you to actually break into tech, and that's not correct. You don't need so many years. What you need is structure. When you find people who are spending so many years, they're just learning, and they still have not been able to break in, it's not because they need that many years, it's because they don't have the right structure. So it's about having that right structure, that you follow that right plan, something that works, that you actually would follow to help you break in. So most people are unsuccessful because they don't follow a structured learning path, because they don't know how to position their previous experience, because they don't even try to figure out, because they try to figure it out on their own. Now, I like to say this about figuring things out on your own. Is it possible to break into tech without anybody helping you, without any support, by just watching YouTube videos, videos from Coursera or videos from Udemy? Of course, there are people who have done it. There are people who will continue to do it. However, it's not the easiest path because right now we're at a time where there's information overload. If you go on Google or go on YouTube and search for any topic, you will get hundreds of videos. So it's not a lack of data, it's not a lack of information, it is that we're having information overload. And remember, right now, it's so easy for anybody to turn on their camera and make a video. So how do you know that that person, you can actually trust what they're saying? Many people are content creators, so you don't want to entrust your career in the hands of a content creator. So figuring it out on your own is possible. However, you need to be careful so you don't also get into that learning loop where you're just moving from one video to the other, to the other, to the other. Then a lot of people don't know how to optimize their resume or interview correctly. These are skills. Learning data governance is one skill. Learning how to write your resume properly is another skill. learning how to interview correctly. Those are three different skills. And you need to learn each of these skills for you to actually land the job. So these are some reasons why you find people spending years and they still haven't achieved the result that they want. Another myth is you need years of experience to get hired. The data governance market is so underserved that companies will hire you if you understand the DAMA framework and governance principles, if you can demonstrate competency through portfolios, through projects, if you can actually speak the data language confidently, they would hire you. So now we've been talking about data. Let's now go into understanding the data ecosystem. I see that a few questions. I'm going to take the questions, like I said, at the end of the session. I just don't want to lose my train of thought. So let's look into understanding the data ecosystem. I want everyone to walk away today with knowledge of now I understand the roles within data. I understand certain things about the data ecosystem. So every organization, from hospitals to banks to government, runs on data. And that's a plus for everyone on this call, because it means that as long as you've worked in an organization, you have worked with data. As long as you've worked with an organization, you have transferable skills when it comes to data governance because you have worked with data. So you understand data. Like I had a class this morning and we were talking about data quality. I was training them on data quality, our topic for today in the class. Someone is writing on my board. Let me just I think Bola on the call, you're writing on my screen. Let me try to let me change that setting so that no one else can do that. Okay, I think I have taken that permission away.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know how I was able to do that.
That's all right. That's all right. It happens. Okay. So as long as you have worked in an organization, you've worked with data, you have transferable skills. Okay, and yes, I was mentioning, I just lost my train of thought. Now I remember what I was saying. I was talking about the class I had this morning for our most recent cohort. I was teaching them on data quality. And one of the things that I asked them was they should talk about their experience with data quality, if they've ever worked with bad data in their organization. And because I explained what bad data meant, everybody in the class, over 20 students, and everybody in the class or had an experience of working with bad data. And that is the thing, because every organization runs on data. So because if you've worked in an organization, you have handled data one way or the other, meaning that you have some experience you can draw from and put in your resume. So when I say you're not starting from scratch, that is how you draw from your previous experience. So now let's look at what the ecosystem looks like. I like to put it this way. There are four layers. There's the data sources layer, the data storage, the data management, and the data consumption. On the data sources layer, we're talking about where data originates, and every layer has jobs attached to them. So data sources layer is where data originates. So like customer records, transactions, forms, sensors, apps, spreadsheets, social media, IoT devices, web pages, all these are data sources. Within this data sources layer, there are roles. Now you have the next layer, which is data storage. This is where data is stored and organized. So databases, data warehouses, data lakes, cloud platforms like Azure, AWS, Google Clouds. That's the cloud storage layer. Then you have the data management layer. That is how data is governed, cleaned, secured, and made trustworthy. So policies, standard, quality rules, privacy, compliance, metadata. And this data management layer is where we'll really be talking because where we're focusing, because that's where data governance comes in. And the final layer is data consumption. That is how data is used to create reports or create value, sorry. So we're talking reports, dashboards, AI models, business decisions, predictions, and insights. So now let's look at the jobs that are there in those different layers. Within the data sources layer, that is where data is created, we have roles like the database administrator, we have the data architect. Now they design and manage where data lives. So they design the data storage, they design databases, right? And these roles are high coding roles. So if you're someone that doesn't want to code, already you know that should be a no-no for you. It means that you don't want to work in the data sources layer. You don't want to be a database administrator. You don't want to be a data architect because these are high coding roles. Then you have the data storage layer, which is where data is stored and organized. You have roles like data engineer, cloud engineer. They build pipelines and infrastructure. These are high coding roles as well. Then you have the data management role. That is where data is governed and trusted. Here you have roles like the data governance professional, the data steward, the data quality analyst. Now, these roles deal with policies, standards, compliance, and these are largely no-code roles. I like to say largely no-code because there are exceptions where you find that some companies want you to know some sort of SQL, mostly like for a data quality analyst role. However, mostly no-coding roles. So data governance is a no-coding role. Like the student who I said got a job and reached out to me this morning, she's not going to be coding on that role. They don't need her to know SQL. They don't need her to know any of the coding tools. So a lot of students like that, for a lot of data governance roles, there are no coding roles. But like I said, there are some exceptions. Then you have the data consumption layer. This is where data creates value. So you have roles like the data analyst, data scientist, AI and ML engineer. They build reports, dashboards, AI models. I like to say it's a low to high code role. Low because data analyst is a low coding role, but then you have roles like data scientist, AI and ML engineer. These are high coding roles. Excuse me. So if you want a low coding role, you're not scared of SQL, you may want data analytics. But if you want a no code role at all, then you want to work within the data management layer, which is where you have data governance, data stewards, and then data quality analysts. Now, AI and data ecosystem. We've talked about the data ecosystem as a standalone. Now, let's explore the AI and data ecosystem. How do they meet? Where is that intersection between both fields? As we all know, we're in the middle of a structural shift. AI is being integrated into every industry. So AI is transforming all careers, right? Generative AI agents, AI automation, they're reducing the value of technical skills. They're making them more accessible and increasing the value of strategic and business skills. Our current workforce is just touching the surface of AI capabilities. If we all think about it, 2 years ago, what could AI do and what can AI do now? Imagine what AI will be able to do in the next 2 years. So AI, of course, is just, we're just at the beginning of AI's growth, and the AI transformation. So now I like to say that AI and data professionals have a two-way relationship. Let's explore the relationship. So on one hand, AI needs data. And on the other hand, data professionals use AI as a tool. So let's look at how AI needs data. AI depends on data professionals because AI is only as good as the data behind it. AI systems require high quality data, structured metadata, data pipelines, data governance, data quality controls, bias mitigation, access management. Without data, you cannot have AI models. AI models work because they are fed data. They work on data. Data is the food of AI, right? So data is the foundation for AI. Now, it means that those data professionals are the enablers of AI. Without data engineers, you would have no data pipelines. And if you have no data pipelines, you can't have AI. Without data analysts, you have no insights. Data analysts help to create insights. They create reports which give insights to the organization. Even when an organization is looking to deploy AI, they need the data analysts to help them track which of our business processes do we need to deploy AI? Do we need to add AI to? They would have the business analysts run reports, check the data. A lot of organizations no longer make decisions based on gut feeling or based on just one person's experience or one person's opinion. They make decisions using data. That's why you hear a lot of organizations call themselves data-driven organization. So what that means is they would make decisions using data. And you need data analysts to actually make those decisions. Can AI make reports? Yes. Can AI build dashboards? Yes. But would AI replace data analysts? No. And because you cannot fully depend on AI, AI hallucinates, AI makes mistakes. That's why even if AI can run reports right now, AI still cannot replace data analysts. Then without data governance, you have no trust, no compliance. Data governance brings trust and compliance to the organization when it comes to their data. And so if you don't have them in place, you're going to be building your AI on bad data. So, and what will happen? The AI, of course, will collapse. So you can see that without these data professionals, and these are just some of the data professionals, there are so many other data roles here that contribute to AI. So without these professionals, you cannot have AI. So AI does not replace data professionals, it amplifies their importance. The second relationship is that data professionals use AI to improve productivity and efficiency. So data professionals now use AI to automate reporting, generate SQL queries, document metadata, detect anomalies, monitor data quality, draft data governance policies, accelerate workflows. To give an example of this, within our program, we get to teach SQL. I teach SQL to the cohorts. And in one of the SQL classes, one of the things that I teach them is how to use AI to actually write SQL queries. And I tell the students, they have an advantage now because when I learned SQL so many years back, there was no AI to help. So when you get stuck, you're looking through Google, you're looking for documentation, you're looking to see if other developers or other data analysts have written things online that you can learn from. However, right now, if you're trying to learn SQL, you just need to have ChatGPT on the side and you can put in your queries and it will tell you what's wrong. It will tell you the logic. It will explain a lot of things to you. So that is just one way that data professionals actually use AI. So data professionals are using AI just like everybody else should be using. So if you're not using it, I mean, why aren't you? Everybody should be using AI to improve their productivity as well as their efficiency. So AI has raised the bar. It hasn't removed the professional. Like I said, AI cannot even take away data analysts. So data is the foundation of AI. Without data, AI collapses. AI learns from data. Poor data is going to give you biased AI. No data, you have no AI. Governed data gives you scalable AI. And this is where organizations are trying to get to. They want to get to scalable AI. They want to be able to scale AI. And for them to do that, they must have governed data. Earlier this year, I think about a month ago, I was at a summit, a data and AI summit, and where they had a lot of leaders come from North America. A lot of data and AI leaders come, and they were talking about AI projects. They were sharing the different AI projects that their organizations were working on. And one interesting conversation kept coming up, which is data governance. And the reason is you cannot have AI, you cannot talk about AI without talking about data. And if there's one thing leaders are afraid of, they're afraid of deploying AI on bad data because that's going to be, first, of course, that's going to cost them money. That's going to be a waste of money. That's going to cause them embarrassment. That could also land them in regulatory issues, legal issues, you know. So wherever leaders talk about AI, deploying AI, they have to consider data governance. And that is one of the reasons why this career path is growing really fast with AI. So AI is not replacing data professionals, it's reshaping how data roles work. It's increasing the demand for strategic and business-focused data roles. So roles like data management, data governance, and data analytics. So data governance and management professional helps companies to trust their data, helps them answer the question, is the data accurate? Is the data complete? Is the data reliable? Helps them also protect their data. So we're talking security, privacy, compliance with regulation. Also helps them use their data strategically, helps them make confident decisions and implement AI safely. So I'm going to read two quotes. One is from KPMG and one is from PMI. So according to KPMG, they said 62% of organizations believe a lack of data governance is the main data challenge inhibiting AI initiatives. And this just summarizes what I've been saying and even what I said happened at the conference, where leaders, when they're talking about AI, they're talking about data governance. They need data governance for them to deploy AI. So what's stopping a lot of organizations? It's not even funding. It's the fact that they don't have quality data. They can't trust their data. So they need to first get their data to a point where they can trust their data. And the only way they can trust their data is by having data governance in place. So I hope you see the relationship. And then according to PMI, PMI is Project Management Institute. So they're the governing body for project managers. And so according to them, they said AI projects are data projects. They're not just about building software, but about getting the right data and then understanding how that data drives outcome. I'm only going to read the first part of this quote because that's what applies. So for them, they're saying AI projects are data projects, meaning you cannot separate the two. If you're having AI projects, know that data project is going with it. Data governance is going with it. So these quotes just summarize what I've been saying. This I got from Reddit. I found this very interesting. I saw it one Monday morning in Reddit. And I want to believe that some of you are familiar with Reddit. So this person wrote here, and I copied it and just pasted it on my slide. It said, the person said, we just found out our AI has been making up analytics data for 3 months, and I'm going to throw up. So we've been using an AI agent since November to answer leadership questions about metrics. It seemed amazing at first, fast answers, detailed explanations. Everyone loved it. I just found out it's been hallucinating numbers this entire time. Our VP of sales made territory decisions based on data that didn't exist. Our CFO showed the board a deck with fake insights. The AI was just inventing plausible sounding percentages. I only caught it by accident when someone asked me to double check something. I started digging and holy shit, it's bad. This is what happens when you deploy AI first without governance. So whether it's data governance and AI governance, when you don't have those two in place, this is exactly what happens. And can you imagine this happening in an organization? And this happened because this was Reddit. Someone shared their experience from their organization. So AI boom requires governance, and this company used the AI without proper oversight. For this organization, this is $1 million mistake because not only did they show this data to senior executives, but the VP already made decisions based on data, based on fake data. And you know what that means? When VP is making decisions, decisions always have financial implications, legal implications. So imagine what that organization would have had to go through. Also, the CFO showed the board fake insights. Imagine how embarrassing that would be for the CFO. And for a lot of organizations, when they have issues like this, of course, people will lose their jobs. Things go wrong. When organizations lose funds or lose money, of course, they throw some of their employees under the bus. So data quality matters. No one validated the AI's outputs. A governance professional would have caught this immediately. So if they had had data governance in place, right? If they were doing data governance right, this would not have gotten to this level. If they had data governance in place, AI governance in place, they wouldn't have needed an analyst or a data analyst to dig through their data for them to realize that the AI has been hallucinating for months. Imagine for 3 whole months. That's a lot of damage for an organization. So with this, you can see that it is garbage in, garbage out when it comes to AI. Now, we've talked about data management. I've been mentioning data management, data governance. Now, let me break it down even further. What is data management? Data management is the development, execution, and supervision of plans, policies, and practices that deliver, control, protect, and enhance the value of data throughout its life cycle. And there are 11 knowledge areas. So you have data governance, data architecture, data modeling and design, data storage and operations, data security, data integration and interoperability, excuse me, document and content management, reference and master data, data warehousing and business intelligence, metadata. I know these are a lot of terms I'm throwing out there. But of course, within our program, we'll break all of this down. So this will no longer be unfamiliar to you, but hearing it from some of you, if you're just hearing these terms for the first time, it may sound like a lot, but it's really not a lot, right? But these are the areas that make up data management. And in the middle, you have data governance. So now, what is data governance? Excuse me for a minute. What is data governance? Data governance is a framework of policies, standards, and processes that ensure data is accurate, secure, trusted, and used responsibly across an organization. And data governance typically requires no coding. So what do you do on the job as a data governance professional? You create and enforce data policies, standards, and procedures. You ensure data quality, accuracy, and consistency across systems. You manage data privacy, compliance, and regulatory requirements. You work with stakeholders to build data accountability frameworks. And some of the core skills that you need and which we teach our students is data policy writing, metadata management, data quality management, privacy and compliance, stakeholder management, and then, of course, the DMBOK framework. I'm going to talk about the DMBOK in detail as we move on. So now, why is data management? Why is it your career opportunity for those of you who want to transition into tech and you don't want to code? Why is data management? Why is data governance a good field for you? Firstly, like we said, excuse me. Firstly, like we said, every organization runs on data. And data management is the discipline that makes sure that data is collected, stored, protected, and used correctly. So if every organization is running on data, they definitely need to make sure that their data is being managed, their data is being governed. And companies are willing to pay a premium for professionals who can actually help them do this. Now, why are companies hiring right now? Why there's so many data governance roles coming up every day? One, you have regulatory compliance. So regulators are demanding better data practices. So you have GDPR, PIPEDA, HIPAA. These are just some examples of regulatory bodies, and many organizations, depending on the field or the industry, they are required to abide by these practices or by these data privacy laws. Then you have AI. And like I've established, AI is only as good as the data feeding it. So companies need data they can trust. Data breaches also cost companies millions, and prevention starts with governance. Also, most organizations are drowning in data, but starving for insights. So the problems organizations have is no longer that they don't have data. As a matter of fact, is that they have more data than they can actually manage. So these are some of the reasons driving this field. That's why this is a high demand area. Now, what does the salary look like? If you want to become a data governance or if you want to work in data governance, what does the salary look like? So the data governance analyst, so these are some job titles: data governance analyst, data steward, data quality analyst, metadata manager, data governance specialist, data privacy officer, data management manager. Then you have the chief data officer. Of course, chief data officer, that's the most senior role. So that's really, really senior. You won't finish a program like this and apply for a chief data officer. It's like finishing a program and going to apply as a director immediately. Unless you have that experience, you wouldn't do that. But for any of the other roles, you definitely can apply for them. Now, I love being on the moderate side. So I would say $75,000 naira, but $75,000, sorry, not naira. And the reason, however, I say that with an asterisk in front of it. I say $75,000 because you would always find, in whatever industry, you would always find companies that are cheap. You would always find companies that are low ballers. However, a lot of the roles, good data governance roles, start from at least $90,000. That's what you should be targeting. 90, 100, 120, 150, you will find those out there. But I always put this 75,000 because I don't want, not naira, that was a mistake. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Jean. I see you wrote in the chat naira. As I was speaking, I made a mistake. Yes. I guess because I have my schools in Nigeria, I was on the call. I was awake through for most of last night. I was awake because we're planning my schools in Nigeria. We're planning our resumption, so I was awake and we're talking naira. So I guess that's why that's in my head. But yeah, dollars, not naira. So what we're going to do, so like I was saying, I put $75,000 here just so that if you check in a job description and you see a low baller, don't say, oh, Jennifer said they all start from $100,000. So what's going on? What's going on is that if you see that, know that some companies are low ballers. So it's now up to you whether you want to apply for a low baller like that, or you want to just target the companies who will pay you the fair wage. And the fair wage within this role is from $100,000 and above. But what I like to say is I'm a data professional. If I'm telling you anything, I have to back it up with data. So I've stopped sharing my screen briefly because I want to open LinkedIn. And the reason I want to open LinkedIn is I want to go to the job site. So I want to check for data governance jobs. I'll share my screen shortly. Now, whatever platform you typically use when you're applying for jobs, you can check that. So some of you may be using Indeed or any other platform. Feel free to check that. But for this call, we're going to use LinkedIn. So yes, this is LinkedIn, and I've just put data governance jobs. That's all I've put there. And so let's start with the USA. So what I will do, United States. I'm not putting any specific state. You know the state you're in. When you're doing your own search, you can put your target states, but I'm just going to do a broad search across the United States to see what so what we're checking is the salaries, right? Some organizations will share their salaries, some won't. So let's see if this organization shared theirs. Yes, so you can see this data governance lead. $169,000 to $229,000. So you see why I say on my slide I like to be modest, right? But even I know that yes, I'm very, very modest on my slide, but the reality is the job pays a lot more than that. Okay, so keep putting K. I see you have a question there. Keep putting in your questions. I will respond to you towards the end, just so I don't lose my train of thought. All right, so this is one job. Let's look for another. This is data strategy and governance specialist. Let's see if they have their salary. You can see this, $169,000 to $194,000. This is in the US. Let's look at maybe two more roles in the US. So like I said, don't just take my word for it. Do your own research on what companies are actually paying. Let's see. You can see some things to mention. You can see they talk about Microsoft Purview. That's something we teach in our program. You see this, including foundational SQL. That's something we teach because I like to say data governance is a non-coding role. However, some organizations need you to just have the foundation of SQL. Just understand foundational SQL. Organizations understand that AI will help you do a lot of these queries. But if you understand the foundation, you can then use AI to do it properly. So that's where that comes in. And it's something we teach. Now you can see this role says master's or PhD in a quantitative discipline. Well, that doesn't mean you wouldn't apply, because I like to say, if you find that you see a job and you have at least 60 to 70% of the things the job asks for, go ahead and apply for that job. Many times, what they put in job descriptions are wish lists. Many times, I've been on several hiring teams, and I can tell you for a fact that many times the things on those lists, the job description, many times you're not even doing half of the things that they write there. Many times some of the tools written there, you're not even using them. So sometimes you just have templates that HR would come up with. Sometimes HR would even use AI to come up with the job description and post there. So there's usually a disconnect. So when you see a job, even if it says a master's, still apply. Even if you don't have a master's, you apply for it. Now coming here, you can see Dama-Diembach principles. I'm going to explain the Dama-Diembach principles. If you can look behind me, there's a book on my shelf and you can see Dama-Diembach. That is the book. We give our students a copy of this book when they join our program. And our program is built off this book. The Dama is the gold standard for data management globally. So whether you're in Canada, the US, UK, Nigeria, whichever country, it is, as long as it is data governance, data management, it is Dama-Diembach that you would be using. All right, so you can see this organization, they want you to have familiarity with that. And you can see certifications, professional certifications such as the CDMP. That's why I mentioned the CDMP. It doesn't mean that without the CDMP, you can't get a job, because you can. If you can defend it, if you can talk and show that you actually understand the data management principles, the framework, then even if you don't have the CDMP, you're good to go. However, the CDMP, I mean, if a hiring manager has two candidates, both of them are equally skilled, one has the certification, one doesn't have, the certification, it becomes an advantage, and the certification can actually be that differentiating factor. So that's why I push for the CDMP as much as possible. Mostly when you're just starting this career path, the CDMP will go a long way for you. And you can see Microsoft Purview. We train on Microsoft Purview as part of our program. So you can see CDMP, DAMA related certifications as the CDMP. Now see the salary for this company. This is East West Bank. $115,000 to $175,000. So yes, so you can see from the US. Now let's go into Canada. So for those of you on the call, feel free to check within your country or within your state, your specific state or province. Now I'm going to just check Canada, just Canada in my filter. You can narrow down later on. This is a management consultant, but it says data governance. So they want you to work. It's a consulting role. And you can see the salary is $105,000 to $160,000. These are for people in Canada. Let's look at this other role. This role is even, let's see, it's a remote role. Imagine this, it's a remote role, which is great. So for those of you who are wondering, are there remote roles when it comes to data governance? Yes, there are. You can see this here. But of course, organizations are wanting people to come into the office more and more. Let's see if this organization actually shared their salary. Let's see. It's a 2-year, this is a contract role, it's a 2-year contract role. And if you've ever done any form of contracting, you know that contracting pays a lot. This is interesting because today in the session I had this morning, during the session I was talking. It has salary mentioned on top. Did I miss it? Oh, okay, $115 per hour. Thank you very much, Suman, for noticing that. I missed that. So you can see there's $115 per hour to $120 per hour, Canadian dollars. So you see the pay is really good. The pay is really good. Wouldn't you want to have this? And if you look at what this job is offering, sometimes when I have these sessions and I'm looking at job postings, I start saying to myself, should I dust my resume and go apply for jobs again? But no, I'll rather do what I do now, which is help more people get in the field. But sometimes the salaries look so enticing. Look at this role. They don't even need you to do any coding or anything. Lead provincial health data governance strategy and framework, including policies, standards, decision making. So it's all about policies. Develop data classification schemas. I teach our students this. Establish and support data governance committees, councils, working groups. Exactly what I teach the students. Define responsibilities for data owners. As a matter of fact, I'm going to copy this job posting and send it to some of my students because they definitely can do this job. All right, so this is the second one. Let's look at the third one. This is a data lead or head of data. Let's see, this is also a remote role. You can see $100 per hour to $140 per hour. And let's look at one more role before we keep it moving. Data quality analytics and reporting. So when you see data quality, there's definitely going to be SQL here. Let's see what the salary is. So see this one, $111,000 to $161,000. So now let me head back to my slide. So as you can see, you have looked at job postings and you see that I was even being very modest, and I prefer it. I prefer to be very modest so that when you do your research, you see that, oh, they even pay more than I anticipated. Than if I exaggerate and you go check and it's like, oh no, Jennifer exaggerated it. So I always like being modest. I like to err on the path of modesty. Now let's talk about the CDMP certification, which I like to say is your career accelerator. The CDMP certification is the gold standard. So it's certified data management professional, and it is the gold standard certification in data management. It's issued by DAMA International and recognized by employers worldwide across every major industry. So why does it matter? It's globally recognized. Salary premium, you see those salaries always have ranges. You can negotiate your salary if you have the CDMP. But of course, even without the CDMP, you should always negotiate your salaries anyway. Instant credibility as well. If you have the CDMP, it already proves that you understand the DAMA DMBOK, and it's a career differentiator. So those are some of the reasons why it's good to have the CDMP. Now, the CDMP has different levels. There's associate level, practitioner, master, fellow. When you start with the associate level. Organizations don't care what level you have, they just care that you have it. So the associate level is good enough for anyone who's looking to work in data management or data governance. These other levels, practitioner, masters, they require you to write other exams. So the opportunity is massive and the timing is perfect. From what we saw on LinkedIn, you saw that over $100,000 is like the average salary. Also is no coding. However, SQL is an advantage, and that's why we teach it in our program. But there are lots of jobs that don't need you to know SQL. And then AI is creating a new demand for this career path. AI regulation is reshaping data careers. So when you transition, you don't start from zero. You start by reframing the experience you already have. Your existing skills are more valuable than you think. Now, I love to talk about existing skills because I talk about transferable experience. When you transition into data governance, you're going to be leveraging your previous experience. And you most likely already have 60% of the skills required for this role. So skills such as problem solving. So I want you to identify, if I say any of the skills that you have, feel free to put it in the chat or write a yes if you can see skills that you have. So problem solving skills. I'm monitoring the chat to see what you're writing. I have questions which I will take, but problem solving, business understanding, domain expertise, attention to detail, communication, process improvement, documentation, strategic thinking, stakeholder management, leadership, adaptability. These are some of the skills. So if you already have some of these skills, you already have 60%, because data governance is mostly about people. When you're doing data governance, you're working with people to ensure that they are treating data right, that they have the right data culture. That's what you're doing. It is policies, it is standards, it is rules. You're talking with people, you are influencing people, influencing how data is treated in the organization. So a lot of the skills you need for the role are actually soft skills. Once you understand the data governance domain, you'll find that what you mostly need are soft skills. And then, of course, your domain expertise. So whether you come from finance, from healthcare, from retail, from government, whatever domain you already have that you come from, that is an advantage for you. So you see, when you start, you're not starting from ground zero. You're starting from experience. You're starting with the experience that you already have, and you are building on that. These are some testimonials from previous students. This is one from one of the students who got a 92% in the CDMP. I use WhatsApp a lot. I believe a lot of you who have come in here today, you've come in here from our WhatsApp platform, our WhatsApp group. So you get to chat with us on WhatsApp a lot. Keep putting your questions in the comments. I will take the questions. Okay, I'll take all questions. No question will be left unanswered today. All right, so yeah, so we use WhatsApp a lot. So a lot of times students will reach out to me on WhatsApp, and I would screenshot many times, of course, with permission. I'll screenshot and then I can add them to the slide. So this student said, "Hello, coach, thanks for your help during my interview. All the questions asked were things I had done with you during the program. So it was really easy for me. Thank you so much. They sent the offer today. I just signed it now. It's still like a movie to me." Another student said, "I just wanted to share some good news. I've received an offer for a data governance analyst role, and I'll be starting next month. I'm really grateful for the support from you and the Tech Drivers team throughout the program. The sessions, guidance, and feedback were incredibly helpful during my transition. Another student said, "Hi, Jennifer. Just wanted to say thank you again. I officially started my new role this week as a data governance analyst. The guidance you gave during the program really helped me understand the field and prepare for the interviews." Now, these are not even the news because I said, like I mentioned, there's a student who reached out to me just today. I'm so excited to share her what's it called? To share her story. Although because she reached out to me just before this class, I haven't had the time to I always like to blog personal details so I don't mistakenly share her name or share her phone number. I mean, because that would be a breach of privacy, right? So I don't have that on my slide yet, but that was today. In the past, I have from other students, but these videos, I know that I've gotten feedback in the past saying that they couldn't hear. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear what the students are saying, but these are testimonials from previous students. If you cannot hear, what I would do is a member of my team will upload or would post some of these testimonials in the WhatsApp group. So if you're in the WhatsApp group, even if you can't hear what they're saying now, I'm not sure why it doesn't work for me. I hear it fine, but it's happened, I think, from our last webinar last week. Some students or people on the call said they couldn't hear. So I'm going to try playing it now. Let me know if you can hear. If you can hear, say a yes in the chat. If you can't, put a no. But I'll get someone from my team to upload some of the testimonials in the WhatsApp group. Can you hear what he's saying? You can hear it. So I'll get someone from the team to share some of this. They just talk about their experience with the program and all that. This is another student CDMP badge. Okay, thank you for mentioning that you can hear. I really don't know why it doesn't work from my end. So I'm going to just skip the videos. I'm not sure. I've tried troubleshooting a number of times. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but someone from the team will post some of these testimonials online in the WhatsApp group rather. So I'm just going to skip the testimonials. Now, I will talk about the Tech Drivers Land framework for landing a six-figure data role. And then at the end of the program, at the end of the session, before I start taking calls, I'll quickly just do a screenshot from my WhatsApp chat so that I can share with you the testimonial I received this morning because I'm so excited. Why I'm mostly excited, mostly for this one, we had our interview prep session. That was, I think, 2 weeks ago was when we had the interview prep session. And then she interviewed, and I have been waiting and praying with her. When she told me they had called for references, I've just been waiting and praying with her. And today she mentioned it that she had gotten the job. I haven't even shared it with the rest of the cohorts because she only told me a few, less than an hour ago was when she told me. So I'm really just excited about that. For me, it's always a big deal when a student gets a job. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do, right? So I'm always excited when a student does that. So let's look at the Tech Drivers Land framework for landing a six-figure role. Now, this is a framework that I use with the students. It is LAND. So L stands for learn. You start by learning the core concepts of data governance, data management, the data management framework, and the industry standards. Then we go into apply, where you apply with real-world case studies and the tools used by employers today. So we have several case studies that we discuss throughout the program. You're constantly applying what you're learning as well. And then some of the tools. So Microsoft Purview, because I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, so I'm an official trainer for Microsoft. So I train on Microsoft technology. So Microsoft Purview is part of what we use. Also SQL. Now, like I said, SQL I teach SQL just so that students have an advantage. It's just one more thing to add to give you an advantage. It doesn't mean that you need SQL for every job, or without SQL, you won't get a job. Like I mentioned, students get jobs all the time without SQL. SQL is not a must-have. SQL is a nice-to-have, but I teach it. I mean, when it comes to trying to get into tech, more is more, right? So if you have more skills, it can be a plus for you. So that's why we include it in the program. So we teach you SQL, we teach you Power BI, so Microsoft Power BI. So like I mentioned, I teach on Microsoft technologies. So Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft Purview, these are tools that I teach within the program in addition to the framework. Would you issue certification for the Microsoft Purview? No, I don't issue certification for Microsoft Purview. Now, Microsoft certification is different. Microsoft certification, the way Microsoft certification work is that they are issued by Microsoft. They are not issued by the trainers. Microsoft trainers, their official trainers only prepare you for those exams. The official trainers cannot give you the certification. Remember, there's a difference between certificates and certification. At best, I can give you a certificate, but what is recognized, and that's why I don't push certificates so much, I push certification. What organizations recognize is certification, not certificates. Any organization, any training institute can give you a certificate, but organizations do not really recognize that much. What they recognize is certifications from the certifying bodies. DAMA is a certifying body. The CDMP will come from DAMA. I can't give you DAMA certification. I can prepare you for DAMA exam. You write the exam, you pass, and DAMA gives you the certification. So that's how certifications work. It's applicable to business analysis, project management, and all of that. So after applying, next is navigating. You navigate the job market. You position your transferable skills and identify the right roles for your background and experience. Then finally, you have demonstrate. You demonstrate your value. You polish your resume. You ace your interviews and you activate our job placement support network for you to land the role. So this is what we take our students through. A lot of our students right now are in the apply. For the student who just got a job, who messaged me today, they are actually in demonstrate. They've got into the demonstrate part of things. But she even started applying for jobs. She said she started applying from week 4. So it really depends on the individual. And that's something I like to say, that the results you get when you attend a training program, whether it's mine, whether it's anywhere at all, the results you get is dependent on the effort you put in. In that same cohort where someone is getting a job, where people are writing their certification exams, you still have people who are not showing up for class. It always happens. Every cohort, I have students who don't show up for class, but then I have students who are putting in the work and getting the results. So that's why at the beginning of this training, I always say that this training is not for you if you're looking for get rich quick, because this is breaking into tech is not a get rich quick scheme. You can't work that way. You actually have to do the work. It's like prison work. You do the time, right? You must put it in. So you must actually put in the effort. You show up in class. And then showing up in class is also not enough. You have to apply. You have to apply what you're learning. When you have assignments, you do them. You have projects, you do them. Because if you don't do them, all you're doing is you're coming into class and you're listening to me and you're watching me like I'm Netflix. I'm not. You're supposed to implement what you're learning. That way it sticks with you. And that way, when you go into an interview, you can actually defend what you know and you sound knowledgeable. You won't sound like someone that read a book and you're just coming to spit out a definition from a book. So that's why we have the apply part of things. So this is our methodology that we work with our students. And we have our program starting. Our next cohort is on board. So the onboarding date for our next cohort is August 29th. We get to meet twice weekly, and it's a blend of live, excuse me, it's a blend of live and pre-recorded sessions. So you meet through Zoom, just like we're meeting now. Like I mentioned, I had classes this morning. So Zoom, live sessions, and also self-paced videos. Data governance does not require coding. I like to stress that, so that for those of you who are absolutely afraid that you're like, see, even if AI can help me with SQL, I don't want to touch any line of query. I don't want to write any query. I don't want to know anything about SQL. Know that there's still a place for you here, because data governance is a no-code role. But I just add SQL because from my industry experience, I do know that if you can write SQL queries, if you have fundamental understanding of SQL, foundational understanding of SQL, it can open a lot more doors for you. So that's why we add it to the program. So certification prep is included. A lot of our students write the exam from week 4. I always tell students from week 4, you can write exams. From week 4, you can do two things. You can start applying for jobs from week 4, and you can write the exam from week 4. We've had students write from week 4. So our outcome, what we aim or what we're trying to achieve at the end of the 8 weeks, we want you to be a job-ready data governance professional. And for us, it's an icing on the cake if by the 8th week you even have a job. That's icing on the cake. But of course, not everybody will get a job at the 8th week. I mean, it depends. If you've not been applying for jobs and it's just in week 8 you start applying, you won't get a job. If you've not been studying, if as the you're learning you come into class, you're learning, but you're not putting in the work, you're not applying yourself, there's no magic that will happen. You actually have to put in the work. But for people who put in the work, they always get the result. Now, your result might come at varying times, but you'll get the result. So what do you get within the program? We cover the governance framework and strategy. So data management, the DMBOK framework, data governance strategy, data quality tools. We introduce you to AI governance, certification prep as well. So the CDMP, the DAMA-BOK, we give you all that material to help you prepare. We have past questions. So we have like a question bank that we share. Hands-on project experience as well. Like I mentioned, application is a big part of our program. So when you learn the concepts, you have to apply. Until you apply the concepts, you don't know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. Because it's very easy to listen to someone and feel that you know it because you listen. It's until it's time to apply that you realize, oh, wow, okay, this thing I thought I understood, maybe I don't understand it as much. Then you have more questions and you bring your questions to class for us to discuss. Also, career positioning, we teach you how to translate your transferable skills, job search and interview readiness as well. We help you with your interview prep. So I always say when you have an interview, you give us ample time, reach out to us, and we'll schedule a session with you to support you. Then support mentorship and references. So references is something we also do for our students, but we only give you reference when we're sure that you did all your assignments. We can't give you reference if you didn't do the work because we can't vouch for you if you didn't do the work, right? So this is what we cover within the program. So for us, at the end of the program, we want you to become a certified data management professional. You have the skills employers need and are hiring for. You have the work experience for your resume so that you can land your role as a data governance professional. Now, the program covers the LAND framework, weekly live training, AI for data governance training, certification prep, career launch package, that is career coaching, resume, LinkedIn, job search accelerator, templates, workbooks, case studies, private community, ongoing support. Now, the value is not fee. The value of the program is $12,000, but I would say the value is way more than that because this is a gift that keeps giving. Once you get your foot in the door, you know you have launched a new career path to yourself, and all you can do from that point on is keep growing. Now, the investment for the program, the full fee for the program, it's $1,997. However, we're giving a discount. For those of you on the call, rather than pay $1,997, and please note it is USD, not Canadian dollars, rather than pay $1,997, you get to pay $1,000. So if you would like to be a part of the program, that is the cost or that is the fee for the program. So you get bonuses, Power BI Masterclass, CDMP Prep, access to alumni network, SQL training, resume templates, recruiter outreach templates, introduction to AI governance. You get all of these things. Now, I like to say it this way. Think of it this way. This investment, it pays for itself, and it pays for itself fast. Let's do the math. Let's assume that in your first job, you get $100,000. And this is very doable because a lot of our students get this. If you get $100,000 in your first role, it means that by the time you get your first check, your first monthly paycheck, or your first, if it's bi-weekly, your first paycheck, you've already gotten what you invested in the program and you've gotten it over. So this is an investment that actually pays for itself. And our goal is simple. Get you job ready in 8 weeks. I say 8 to 12 weeks. The program itself is for 8 weeks, but that additional 4 weeks, it is, let's assume you were slow. Let's assume you delayed in anything. You have additional 4 weeks. You're tidying up your work, tidying up your project, and all of that. So for us, we're trying to get you certified, skilled, and hired. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now, and then I'll take questions. So if you do have questions, feel free to unmute and ask your questions. The admin has put up in the chat the payment options. So we allow flexible payments. So if you're paying in full today, you get to pay $997. But if you're paying in installments, then you pay $1,000, but you can break it down. So you can pay in 2 installments, that is $500 twice. You can pay in 3 installments. Maybe you pay $300 today, you pay $200 later, and then you make your final payment of $500. So you get to pay 3 installments. So we allow full installments, you pay $997. But if you're paying in 2 or more installments, 2 or 3 installments, then you get to pay $1,000, but you pay $500. Either you do $500 twice or $300 up front, and then $200, and then finally $500. But one thing we need to note, irrespective of how you pay, our payment policy is that by week 4 of the program, you should have completed all payments. So after week 4, we don't accept any more payments. So you must have completed all payments by week 4. So you must make a first payment to get into the program, but however you split your payments by week 4, all payments must be completed. So let me take some of the questions in the chat, and then I think I will open up. I think right now no one is able to unmute themselves. Okay, you can unmute if you have questions, but let me look at the chat and answer the earlier questions.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity that you're giving to us to listen to you, and it's been very, very interesting, honestly. I've been driving for a minute, but listening to you, I come from a data background, the developer background, migrating to data engineering. I heard you talk about SQL, Python, and what we do with all of those. But when I heard data governance and data governance, I was like, okay, so because I know in data analytics, if you're a developer, we apply data governance when we try to when we build our dashboards, and then when we assign roles using role level security and stuff like that. So, we determine who gets access to the reports and all of the stuff. So I wanted to know more about the data governance aspect of data, because it looks like what you say for us to learn and pick up. I can add that to my knowledge. Like you said, no knowledge is lost. The more you know, the better you get in terms of how competitive the job market is right now. So two questions for me. Number one is how long is the training? For how long is the training?
Okay.
Like
the
how many
is
weeks?
8 weeks long.
8
are we
weeks. Talking about
8.
How many? Is it like
it's 8 weeks long?
Weeks or 8 weeks?
8 weeks. Yes.
8 weeks of training. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's
okay. And what's your second question?
I'm not.
So it's your network is glitchy. I don't know if it's just me not hearing you clearly.
It is for everybody. It's all intermittent.
Okay, Rotimi, your network is quite glitchy.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Rotimi, I didn't get your second question. You said you had 2 questions.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, the network was bad. So I wanted to. I think you answered both. I wanted to know payments. I kind of forgot the second one, but so okay. I will jump on this training as soon as I finish the one that I'm currently on. It's going to be quite difficult to combine both trainings together. So as soon as I'm done with this one that I am on right now, I will jump on your training for sure. Thank you so much.
Jennifer, I have the questions already sent to you in the chat, right?
Okay.
I am in the IT field, non-technical, non-developer, but as a functional since last 18 to 20 years. I have certifications on Salesforce. So you talk about Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Data Cloud, Marketing Cloud, even to the extent of Marketing Cloud Intelligence. I have been working in it and I am drawing 120 plus always. I was thinking of going into data governance, but whatever you said, all those things, when you talk about data source, you talk about data storage, you talk about data security, data governance. I do all that. But now the question comes in, if I take the course from you, the training, my question is, how will I manipulate my resume? Number one, right? That is a big issue for me because I am looking forward now. I was in a role required to be the office. So I have been in one of the top organizations when I say, and those have been in US or in Canada or even in England. So I am looking forward to remote jobs nowadays, these days. And I was, whatever you said, I do all those. So when that's why I was so opened up. I said, you talk about PPDA, you talk about HIPAA, you talk about GDPR, right? You talk about see the Canadian, the new Quebec 25 law, all those things. I'm regularly into it. So how will you help me if I join and my resume doesn't show that I already say all these things in my resume wherever I apply, right? But then the issue is my resume is totally Salesforce oriented and pointer. So how will we gain? That was my
Okay.
question. And
Okay. Okay.
I do know SQL is required because I have developers reporting to me. I do know select from where, what, all these things I know. The only issue I face sometimes is okay, even at an enterprise level, because I am with the companies or organizations that we use ENT, right? So the softwares are ENT, but coming on to understanding that would be joins, inner join, right, left joint, and all those things kill me. So that's why I asked you that question. Okay, I hope I've been able to flash it out. But this is where we stand
Okay.
as of today.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah. So you already have like you all the joins and all the things you're mentioning, that is SQL. So you already have some technical background. You already have you have a lot of experience you can draw from. And yes, excuse me, technical teams do some data governance. I think like Rotimi mentioned it, like he already does some data governance,
Same thing. I
role
do
level
all those
data
things.
governance.
I do all of those
Yes,
things. And I'm
yes.
the
If you
person who
work
makes
in
the validation rules, the schema, the validation rules, the policies, everything I design and I talk to the solution architects and then we make it sure how we do it because we have a lot of integrations. So when I say integrations, where data is required or even the access model, whether at field
Mhm.
level or you talk about data level, hierarchy level, everything I do.
So yes, so you're already a technical person. Now you've been working on data governance from a technical perspective. Now that is different, it's slightly different from leading a data governance role or leading a data governance program. So you see those job postings that we were looking at that said data governance, those are from the perspective of leading a data governance program. So that is cutting across business and IT. You've been in the IT end. A lot of times, data governance is happening in IT. Within IT, as they're deploying systems, they are implementing data governance. However, it's not happening in the business perspective. So now the data governance role as a whole is about implementing data governance between business and IT, not only just for the technical team, but also for the business team.
So how
So
would
I
you
hope
handle
that
my
gives you.
resume? No, I
Sorry.
see. When you talk about business rules, I
Mhm.
sit, I have to sit in the DD&T. So not a DD&T, I mean to say specifically BRD and look into FRD
Mhm.
and thereby go into technical requirements. All those things I
Mhm.
sit. I communicate with the business. My only question, biggest question is
Your
SQL was
resume.
one. The main second one is the resume, right?
So
So
we help with resume. We teach you how to write your resume. And for you, you have a lot of things for your resume. Your resume is going to be very easy because you actually have hands-on experience with data. You have hands-on experience implementing data governance. So that's even going to be easy for you. And we show you how to do that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, hi,
And then your
Jennifer.
question about SQL, if SQL is necessary, 1 second. Your other question which you put in the chat, is SQL necessary? SQL is an addition. It's not a must-have. For a lot of data governance roles, it's not a must-have because
I think it
it
would be
is a
required
nice
when
to have.
yeah, it is nice to have because I would be searching into, and when I say search, so if an organization has multi silos, right, I have to make sure how do I search into the data that is required, and number one, number two, oh, very important thing. This is data governance and AI, you said. So do you all in your curriculum? I didn't see anywhere the prompt builder, etc. Would you be guiding into the prompt builder, etc.? Because I am right now, I just finished a training on AI and MCP servers, right? Specifically from Salesforce. That's why I asked you that question, the prompt builder. Because the prompt builder is the one that will dip into the data. And if the data is not correct, that is where your insights and everything will fail. And that is, you just gave an example of some company facing that financial issue.
Yes, so because this program is more for it's not a technical program, so we're not going into prompt builders. We're not trying to make you, like, at the end of this program, we're not trying to make you a developer of some sort. We're not trying to make you a technical person. We're trying to help you. We're trying to guide you to becoming a data governance professional who works with business and IT without becoming an IT person yourself. So we don't go that deep into prompt builders. No, we don't.
Okay, but that will help because I just finished my MI and AI both, right? And specifically when I said MCP servers, so I'm very well conversant how to link Claude and Cursor and ChatGPT into my environment.
Okay, that's more technical. So no, that's
Yeah.
not what this is. Yeah, that's more technical. No, we know what dealing
Okay.
with for this program. We want people, it's more of helping you to get into a non-coding area of tech, right? So if we're going into all that, then we're adding so much heavy coding into it, and we don't want to do that. All right, so thank you for your questions. I hope I answered so I can take other
Yes.
people's questions. Who
Yeah,
wants to
hi,
go
Jennifer.
next?
Hi, Jennifer.
Jennifer,
Okay,
Hello.
hi.
I just wanted to go on with, I sent in a question in the chat.
Okay.
I think you've answered a bit of the things that I asked. If there's a relationship between the data analysis and the data governance, and you seem to have answered a bit of them. But
Okay.
I've seen a lot of ads online about data governance, data analysis, and all of that. I've been a little bit skeptical because there's been a lot of ill stories online about people going into most of these programs and then they come out and it just feels like they didn't do anything because the instructors basically try to just rush everything, get their money, and go to the next group of people that they're pretty much going to exploit. But I saw yours and I'm like, okay, I read a lot, I did a little bit of digging and all that. I like to be a little bit in depth on stuff, went to check you out on some medium and see if this is real, if she's a real person and all that. And I see all of this. Now,
Am I real? I'm not very
yeah,
big
you
on
are.
social media, but I want to believe I'm real.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yeah, but I try to see it. I like to just do those things. It's really not about the money, it's about my time, wasting time on unnecessary stuff. So here's the question. How in-depth do you go on SQL, Power BI, and the rest? Now, I'm not an expert in any of these things, right? I'm basically transitioning or attempting to transition into into tech. So I probably would need all the help that I can get. But I just don't want to deceive myself. I don't like deceiving myself on going into something that I think is going to be worthless to me at the end of the day, waste all this time. So it's really not about the money at this point. It's really about the time and long term. I'm really, really trying to transition into it. But how in depth do you go on all of this technical stuff like SQL, Power BI, and the rest of them, which are like the most important thing in this place, and how useful it is in data governance at the end of the
Okay.
day?
Okay.
Jenny, if you don't
yes.
if you don't mind, I want to quickly help my brother right there. Okay, so everybody has been where you are, sir. And one thing I will advise you to know is that most times one training does not provide all the answers that you're looking for. A trainer will not provide. There's something that's called hunger. There's something that's called desire. I'm sure when I was speaking, you probably heard me talk about, oh, I'm currently, taking a training and I'm waiting to finish that training before I jump on Jennifer's training, So that's what you need: motivation. You need something to keep you going. You need real desire, not because, tech pays, not because data analytics pays, but because you just have hunger and desire for it. In the beginning, you're probably going to have to invest heavily. Maybe one training won't do. Maybe you need to buy, a lot of training materials. Another thing I would advise you to do is also find mentors, find people who build relationship, like leverage on relationships. But, people who have been ahead of you, people who are very fast, people who are very knowledgeable. Some of them can hand over materials to you. It's not so much about what they hand over to you. It's just so much about, how, you can bump ideas and how, they can pass something on to you in terms of, okay, this is where I want to head. What are you, what's your advice for me? Do you think I should go this way? How do I start? Okay, I have a knowledge, for example, in SQL. What other things do you think I should add? You need people like that around. Some of the things that some of us suffered is because we didn't have, relationships like that we can leverage on. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. So I'll advise you, let that hunger and the thirst, keep burning, and just keep pursuing, keep chasing. Take this training. It's a good training. I would have jumped on it right away if I wasn't taking a particular training. I think this will go a long way. Most times for us in tech, a lot of us we just keep transitioning. At the end of the day, we'll find ourselves in a role that we are very, very comfortable in. So you can reach out to me, we can talk, but build relationship, and most importantly, stay hungry.
Thank you so much, Rotimi, for saying that, because you touch on some very important things. Firstly, that hunger to keep learning. And that's something that I tell the students. You are like, I think one of the questions Debo was asking was about, I think it was Debo who spoke, right? Debo, am I correct? Was that you who asked the question? If it wasn't Debo, then please just let me know who it was. Or whoever it was that asked the question, please feel free to unmute and just correct me.
Yes,
Debo,
it was Debo.
Okay, yes. All right. So one of the things you were asking was SQL. How deep do we go into SQL? And it ties back to what Rotimi was saying. If I look at the way our curriculum is built, we cover the DM book. The DM book is a big book. If I bring that book to you, it's about 500 and something pages long. We cover the core areas that you should know. And what I tell the students is, I had to choose between it's either we cover all the areas, every single chapter in this book. It's possible I can cover all that, but I'm just filling your head with so much theory. And then we don't have as much time to go into hands-on work. So what should I say? A middle ground for us, and it's been effective and it's working with all our students, is we go through the core areas that you need to know, that you absolutely need to know. We cover those in the program. And then you have to read the rest on your own. So it ties back to what Rotimi is saying. We give you foundational bit for certain things. So like SQL as an example. If you're going to learn SQL, you can spend 8 weeks learning only SQL. That's possible because SQL is broad. But to say we're going to spend 8 weeks learning SQL, this is not a SQL training on its own as a standalone. We're not trying to produce a data analyst from this training. We're trying to produce a data governance professional who understands data governance, who can go into an organization, lead a data governance program or contribute to a data governance program and has the data skills. So if there's a database, that person can write basic queries And even if the person needs to do some complex queries that they don't know how to write, that person can leverage, excuse me, that person can leverage AI to actually do that. So we give you the foundation. So tying into your question for SQL, we give you the foundation of SQL. So once you understand those fundamentals, you can build on it. It's just like someone, if you've learned the basic, what do you call them in math, plus addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, right? Once you've learned those four, I've forgotten the term, there's a term for those four operations. Once you've learned those four operations, so you can start applying them wider than even what was covered in your classroom. Do you understand? So it is the foundation. We give you that foundation, like what was it Suman? Sorry if I got your name wrong. I think Suman. Like what Suman, when he was listing, Suman started listing different things in SQL, talked about joins, talked about select statements. We teach you all those in the program, but you now have to build on it. So tying back to what Rotimi said, what you do in the program gives you solid foundation, but what you will actually achieve in your career depends on what you build even after the program. Even while the program is going on, how extensively you read apart from what you're learning from us. Because tech is fast-paced, tech is evolving. So you even need to still keep learning. You don't get to a point in tech where it's like, oh yeah, I've transitioned now I can chill. The minute you chill, you get obsolete. So you actually need to keep learning. So I'm hoping that that answers your question in terms of how deep we go. We give you fundamentals. You have to continue building on your fundamentals. You can't stop at fundamentals. In terms of the tools, in terms of Purview. In terms of Purview, yes, Purview, you need enterprise access. So we have enterprise access. So we give that during the program. But even after the program, you still need to read up some more. We share a lot of resources for you to read. You need to go continue reading even after the program. Like the person, I really wanted to share that testimony. I'm just thinking of how I can get WhatsApp from my phone to the laptop to share with all of you. This particular student, she went ahead of the class. So when I see her result that the program isn't even over and she has signed an offer, and her offer is over $100,000 here in Canada, and I see that, I know that she put in so much work. I can testify to the work that she put in, because there were times she reached out to me. Let me share something. And one of the things I really wanted to share is some part of my conversation with her, where she told me of, oh, now that she's doing this training with us, she has identified that there's a data governance team in her organization, and she wants to talk with some of the leaders. And she was asking me for pointers on the kinds of questions she should ask them. That is her going outside of what we're doing. So now when I see her result that she has actually gotten a job, she hasn't written the CDMP, but she has gotten a job. We have people who have written the CDMP, they haven't gotten jobs yet. So it's really about the effort. Your own effort too is going to determine what you get out of the program. You can't just do a program, come to the class, do the bare minimum, and then get results. You won't really get that much result that you are looking for. So Deborah, I hope I hope I didn't go out. I know it was a lot that I said. I hope that kind of gave you some clarity. Did it? Or if it didn't, maybe rephrase your question and I would find a way to answer it. But did it, Deborah? Did I give you enough clarity?
Yes, that's good enough. And I would advise also that you be ready to be bombarded with a lot of questions of class. I mean, I don't see you as someone that will get triggered. I do not
let me tell you something.
see you as someone that will get triggered.
My background is education, specifically early childhood education. If you've worked with children, or if you're a parent, you know how it is teaching children. You know that it takes a lot of patience. So if I come from early childhood education and then I went into adult education, even before I started training in tech, I was training in the education sector. And then I have school, so of course training my teachers, that's part of it, right? So firstly, even before I talk tech, I am first a teacher. So teaching is something that I love to do. I love sharing my knowledge. So even when I was transitioning to tech, I had it at the back of my mind that I was transitioning to tech because I wanted to be able to also teach other people to transition to tech. That has always been my end goal. So coming to class and asking me questions don't faze me. I'm always excited when I have an engaged class, when I have people asking me questions, pick my brain. Ask me a question that I will go back home, or not go back home, I'm already home. But ask me a question that I will go and do more research and tell you, you know what, let me come back next class and I'll respond to you. Challenge me with your questions. So I do like questions. So if you're someone that likes to learn and you have questions, bring them on. Bring your
Yeah,
questions on and well.
no
All right,
problem. I just hope you won't go behind and say he paid $1,000 and he wants to get $100,000 question. I mean, you know what I'm saying. So
no,
just
no. Nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. Nothing like that. The only thing I tell my students, the way you can pay me back, give me testimonial. That's how you can pay me back. Tell me that I did. Like, don't tell me I did a great job if you don't think I did a great job. But when you get a job, come back and tell me you've gotten a job. Because sometimes students will get a job and then, they start to ghost you. I'm like, okay, no problem. I supported you with your interview. You've forgotten already. But, come back and just tell me you've gotten a job. That's it. All right, we have some people's hands up, so I don't want us to hog the conversation in some way. But if you have more questions on WhatsApp, you can reach out. I see Okachi. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name properly. Adama Okachi. Please go ahead with your
Yes.
question.
Hi, Jennifer. Hello, everyone. Thank you
Hi.
for a very interesting presentation. I was so captivated all through and very informative. So I'm more of like an administrative background, which I grew into program management way back in Nigeria. So most of the when you're talking about the data governance on how you can actually do a transferable skill, and I kept on thinking that, wow, so all the things I've done so far, I can actually apply it, which is very resonating and very interesting. So I have one question, and maybe something comes up. You said the training, it's two days in a week. I'd like to know what days, so it will help me plan to know if I have
Okay.
to take it up immediately. Because just like Rotimi mentioned, I actually am running a training already, and I won't say because of age, I can't. It will be hard to, combine two. There are some things it's not advisable to multitask if you want to really get the grasp of what you're learning. So that's one.
Mhm.
Then, I know the payment, getting the good deal, which is 900 once payment is now, and then subsequent, if we miss it today, subsequently it goes back to $1,000, right? So if, for
Yes.
instance, I'm not ready to take in the training now, maybe sometime in the year, can I still reach out to you?
Yes, you can. It's just that we don't know if the discounts will be available at that time. But yes, you
Okay.
can.
So regular, is there a standard time in the week? So do you like okay, the trainings are running these days, or when I'm ready, you let me know when those days are available for the training?
So we have varying days. So like the
Okay.
next cohort will be Thursdays and Saturdays. So our classes are either
Okay.
Thursdays and Saturdays or Tuesdays and Saturdays. So this very
Okay.
next cohort is going to be Thursdays and Saturdays. So Thursday evenings, so 7 p.m. EST, and then Saturday mornings. I think that's 9 a.m. on Saturday, 9 a.m. EST on Saturday, and
Okay.
7 p.m. EST on Thursdays. Yes,
Okay.
that's for
So
the next cohort.
thank you. So the other question is the DAMA certification. Is it part of the $1,000?
No, you
Perfect.
pay
So how
just,
much
yeah, that certification is $311. You pay to DAMA
DAMA
itself.
itself? Okay. Um,
Yes.
and the yearly annual subscription, right?
No, you don't have to. So there's a
Like
membership fee, but that's if you
membership.
want it. If you want
Okay.
to be a member. I can't remember
Okay.
how much it is. It's like $100 and something. I'm not sure of the exact figure,
Yeah,
but
you
that's
pay
optional.
every year, or just a
No,
membership fee.
you
So
don't.
like now for
It's
you,
optional.
you're a member, right?
My membership has expired. I didn't renew, and I
Okay,
don't
so
have
that's why I
to.
wanted to ask. So because
You
just
can
like the
renew if you
PMP,
want. Yeah, if you want to
And
renew.
Scrum, you have the yearly annual fee you pay, and then also to
Yeah.
ensure your what do you call it? You do like the speedy use that you have to also still pay
Yes.
that you're valid. So that's what I'm asking to know. And then okay, fine. Thank you so much. So I will definitely reach
Right.
out to you when I'm ready.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else has a question? I see
Yeah,
Dominion.
hi,
Okay, Shagun, go
Jennifer.
ahead.
I have a
Yeah,
question.
Okay. Yeah, Shagun, please go ahead.
okay. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for all the insights. Before I ask my question, I'll just like to quickly say this. So all this information, I think they're on the chat. Is there a way, because once we exit, right, we might not have all this information. Is there a way we can send it to WhatsApp so I can go review them, timing, the links, so then I'll choose which one works better for me. And
Yes.
yeah.
So, okay, let me just reach out to my admin. Nancy, can you please take note of that and put, when you're writing in the chat, in the WhatsApp group, please also include the class dates and times.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Jennifer.
She's going to do that. She has taken
Okay,
note of that.
yeah,
She's
all
going
right,
to do that.
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I understand how all these things work. I'm in tech. I'm a BA, and I see that you have CBAP, so I guess you've probably been a BA before, because I don't think you just sit for
I've been a
CBAP.
BA,
Yeah. Okay, so I've been a BA for 3-4 years. I lost my job. I'm trying to get back into tech. So yeah, when I started as well, I registered for a cohort, and everything that you're saying, like, it resonates with me. I understand how it works. And same way, like after my cohort, I got a job, and I got a 6-figure job. I got so whatever you're saying, it's not strange. Like, I got a 6-figure, but it was contract, right? So, but then my contract was renewed a couple of times, but then I worked for a US firm, but at some point it wasn't renewed because we weren't getting projects in the PMO. So, but my question will be, so I'm not trying to transition to data, but I'm trying to, like, upskill, just have, because I know when I was working, I used to run away from anything data. I just do my general requirements gathering, writing my user stories, liaising with the tech team, right? So, but I see a lot of I'm in the market now, and I see a lot of, for BA roles, they are incorporating um, lots of data. You probably have to do some data stuff, right? So that's why I'm trying
Yes.
to, yeah, just get familiarized with data. And so I've done a couple of courses with Power BI. So for now, I could say I'm good with Power BI. I have foundational knowledge of SQL as well. But yeah, apart from those two tools, which I could say, yeah, I can work around them. From the data governance and AI perspective, since you've been a BA before, what do you think from this cohorts? What do you think I'll learn to, like, upskill my BA career? And then, because what I'm looking to do is, if I go on this cohort, maybe after a couple of weeks, then I can start. I won't just be looking out for BA, because I know there's some BA and data analyst roles, right? So what will I learn from data governance that can leverage that skill based on what I do currently?
So first thing I want to say is, gradually we're moving away, or we've moved away from the days of generalist BAs.
Absolutely.
So a BA must have something that you're adding, and data is a fantastic addition to a BA, whether you're adding data analytics or you're adding data governance.
Yeah.
But data governance is a fantastic addition. If you've learned data analytics, data governance will be a walk in the park for you. And data governance is also a walk in the park for BAs, even when you don't know any data analytics. Let's say you don't know SQL, you don't know Power BI, but you just know pure BA. Data governance is a great addition for you because, firstly, it ties into your strengths. You already know requirements gathering. Part of data governance, you're doing some of that. You're doing process analysis, you're checking
Yeah.
processes, you're trying to understand their data. But now you are not checking those processes, and you're working with the business and IT teams, but you're not working with them from a perspective of we're developing a software. You're working with them from the perspective of we're trying to ensure we have the right data standards in place. We need to ensure that we have data quality in place. So it's from a perspective of data. So
Yeah.
it's just doing with data governance. Think of it as many of the things you were doing as a BA, but now you are doing it from a perspective of data. That's what it
Data.
is. Now you
Okay.
have the data language for it. I usually have a lot of BAs come on our programs, and every time, one thing that always happens in class, when a BA is in the class, at some point you hear them say, "Oh, I was doing this and I didn't know it was data
Yeah,
governance."
absolutely.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes. that's what doing data governance does for you. When you do a data governance training, it now gives you the language of data governance.
Mhm.
So now some things that you were doing and just calling, you know how you can, because you're a BA, right? From one BA to another BA, you know how with business analysis, there are many tasks that other people do in their different roles, but they're not calling them those BA terms
Oh
because they
yeah,
don't know those
they
BA
don't know.
terms,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah,
But they
yeah.
are doing BA,
They are
but they
doing
don't
BA
know they are
work.
doing BA.
Yeah, like
A lot
process
of people,
improvements.
a lot of
Yeah,
people are
change
doing BA work.
management and all that. Yeah,
All those things
exactly,
are BA
exactly.
work,
Yeah,
but
that's
they
why
don't know.
when I'm searching for jobs, I don't just use BA. Like there was a job I applied for a couple of days ago. It was actually what was the title? I can't remember the title, completely different. But all I just do is I look at the job description and I see, oh, this is a BA functionality, right? Yeah. And then my other question will be from the AI perspective, right? So how do you lecture AI? Is it kind of I would say, do we learn how to create agents, or do we just
No,
use? Okay, okay, yeah, go ahead.
that's going out. AI is broad. AI
Yeah,
is broad. Within AI, you have to just where I did data ecosystem, right? Data
yeah,
ecosystem, you have different people doing different things.
yeah.
AI too, people building agents are different.
Okay,
People,
okay.
there are so many roles within AI. Now, the AI part of things is AI governance, but we only touch a tip of the iceberg with AI governance because AI governance is a full path on its own. It will be unfair to anybody taking my program if I run an 8-week program and I tell you I will do AI
Yeah,
governance, do
yeah.
data governance, do SQL, do Power BI. It means that I will give you 1% of everything, and at the end of the day, you are not baked in anything. That will
Hmm.
be unfair. So
Yeah.
what we do is this is more data governance with some data tools. However, we introduce you to AI governance.
Okay.
We intend to launch an AI governance program before the year runs out. Now, AI governance is typically not a field that you just come into without any experience. So usually you come into AI governance, 2 entry points or 3 entry points for AI governance that we're seeing in the market. You go in from data governance. A lot of data governance professionals are able to work in AI governance because once you've learned data governance and you just learn a bit on AI governance, it's easy to
Hmm.
go with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Then you have GRC, that's cybersecurity professionals. That's another entry point into
Yeah.
AI governance. Then a third AI entry point into AI governance is data privacy. Data privacy professionals, typically some of them, because there's even a certification body for AI governance, but from a privacy perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, so those are 3 entry points. So if you're someone who eventually you want to work in AI governance, then a data governance is a good entry point for you. Build your data governance skills, and then you can add AI governance skill to it later on.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Yes.
that certification, what's it called again? That data certification?
It's called the
Um,
CDMP.
CDMP. What do you think from your own perspective? Like, I'm still in my BA domain. Do you think
Mhm.
that's still necessary to get that certification, or
It
what
is
do you
a
think?
good to have.
Because I
It's a
have
good
CBAP
to have.
already.
Yeah, it's a good to have. It's
Okay.
a good to have because when you put that on your resume, first, people respect that certification. And it's just like when you see PMP on someone's resume.
Yeah.
There's respect with the PMP.
Hmm.
So also within the data management and data governance space, there's respect with the
Okay.
CDMP
Yeah.
because it already means that this person understands DMBOK.
Understands. Yeah.
DMBOK is our framework. So if someone is showing me they have the certification, however, you know what I said earlier, certification alone cannot give you a job. So you will not
Yeah.
just write CDMP, meanwhile you don't know anything and you can't defend it. Then you're as good as the person who doesn't even have anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, but CDMP would be a good addition for you. And
Okay.
if you take a data governance program, you then realize, you see how you said you search for roles based on some tasks,
Yeah.
not based on job title itself. You will realize that there are a lot of jobs that ordinarily you wouldn't have applied for, but now you have data and you can apply for those as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is DMBOK, is it as difficult as Babok? I want to know because that Babok was something else. What do you think? Is it something I can quickly learn or I have
It's
to go
something you
through?
can learn.
I know CBAB was
Feedback,
crazy.
okay. A feedback, yeah. No, CBAB is harder because
Yeah,
CBAB is not
okay.
open book. DMBOK is open book.
Oh,
So
okay,
that kind
okay.
of makes it a little bit easier
Easier.
than the
Okay,
CBAB.
okay,
CBAB
okay,
is stricter.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I've gotten all I need. I just want to confirm if those if your person has sent all those what I
Okay.
was inquiring about too, because I'm gonna
Okay.
exit
On the
soon. Yeah,
group,
yeah.
let me Nancy, let me just call out to her to make sure she's here and she can hear.
Okay.
Nancy, are you on the call? She had put it initially in the chat. Nancy, are you on the call?
And
Yes, I
quick one,
am.
Jennifer, are
Okay,
there
Nancy. Okay, she's responded. Nancy, please, can you put up not just the payment details in the WhatsApp group, also the class start, the class dates and all. Please put that in the WhatsApp group as well.
yeah, quick one. So do
Okay.
we if I
Okay,
miss a
thank you,
class,
Nancy.
do you give recordings?
Recordings, yes, we
Okay.
have an LMS, a full LMS that you get your login details, you can
Oh,
watch the
okay.
replays, you can watch the self-paced videos. Yes.
Oh, okay, makes sense. All right, thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, you're welcome. Any other questions? Dominion, you have your
Yes.
hand up.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, my question is, so I did training in SharePoint,
Okay.
Power Hub, and all that, intranet and all that, and Power BI. So
Okay.
I am looking forward to getting a job. I'm new to the system. So if someone like me, do I need the 8 weeks training? Because I think I'm almost done with all the training.
So
But I
you've
don't
done a
know.
training in Power BI and which other thing? You said
Power
SharePoint?
App,
Was it Power App?
SharePoint, yeah,
So it
Microsoft.
depends. Those are tools. What you've just called are tools, right?
Mm,
You've learned some tools. Now, when you learn tools, the first question I will ask you is, what was your goal in those tools? Because if you're learning SharePoint on its own, are you trying to be an administrator? Did you learn SharePoint to the level of being a SharePoint administrator? When you learned Power App, what was the point of that? You know, that's why I said the thing of you, when you're learning something, when you're trying to transition, learn with a goal in mind. So I'd like to know what your goal was first. What role were you looking for that made you learn? So what you should do when you are learning is when you want to learn, when you're trying to transition to tech, first have the career path, that role that you want, have it as the end goal, then work your way back. Meaning you can decide to say, I want to be a data analyst, so I want to be a data governance professional. Okay, what do I need to learn to help me get there? So that you're not just learning random things. Because when you tell me you learned Power App is not needed for data analytics. So it's like, okay, you didn't learn that for data analytics. You tell me you learned SharePoint. Did you learn it to become an administrator? I'm not sure why you learned SharePoint. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or if you
yeah.
learned Power BI, so are you trying to be a data analyst? Was that why you learned it? Or did you learn it? Do you understand my question to you? Dominion, do you understand?
Yes, I do. Um,
Yes.
when I started it, it was my first time going depth into tech. Um, it was my friend. I said, okay, I told that I want to go into tech. That was my prayer. I want to work from home. And I asked God to direct me. And she said, okay, look, this is what you're going to do. So then I've not known you. I've been on your WhatsApp group for some time now. I've not been had the opportunity to be in this live masterclass. So now, for somebody that I like SharePoint, before now, I don't even know what is tech, but I know when you're choosing a career. But when I went into the class, I was able to understand. I like SharePoint. I like Power BI. So now it has come to the point that I want to get a job with it. So with your
Okay.
training, with your training, should I? Is there need for the training? or just to help
There's
me
a
with
need
the
because if you like data governance, right, there will be a need. So if you like data, you want to work in data, then there will be a need. The reason I say that is that you've learned tools, you've not learned a career path. You've
Okay.
learned tools. Do you understand? But when you are learning, if you learn only the tool, you don't yet know, because every career path has a way they think. So for instance, if I'm a data analyst, right? When a data analyst opens Power BI, what they are looking out for, what they are trying to do is different from what a data governance person opening Power BI is doing. If a data governance person is using SharePoint, the kind of documentation you are trying to create in SharePoint is different from what a data analyst will be creating in SharePoint. So that's why now you've learned tools. You've seen that you enjoy those tools. Those are great. Those tools can then open doors for you to learn, to now learn a structured career, choose a structured career path. So if you enjoyed learning Power BI, that tells me that you enjoy data, because Power BI is really for data. You enjoy data. So now you can be a data governance professional. A data governance professional uses Power BI sometimes. Or you can be a data analyst. A data analyst would use Power BI a lot of times, or they will use Tableau. A lot more. Data analysts will use what's it called? Power BI a lot more times. So if you're asking me if this training would help you get a job, yes, it will help you since you like working with data. But like we've been saying, you have a great start. The fact that you've learned Power BI, you're learning Power BI, that's a fantastic start. So if you now learn a career path, so if you're learning data governance or learning data analytics, you're now streamlining what you're learning that tool, what you're going to be using that tool for. So I don't know if I'm just rambling or if it's giving you clarity.
No, I understand. Thank you.
You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Yes. So
yes.
the program will help you, but you have already validated now that you like data. That's what that tool you learned, Power BI, validates that you like data. So it's now which one do you want to go with the data? How far do you want to go? Because there's also Power BI administrator. That's more technical. So you have to first decide career path. So if you want data governance, it will definitely help you. Yes, the training will help you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I see in the chat, someone says, I'm conflicted with Thursday's timing. What can I do on that? With the Thursday's timing, even if you're only able to attend Saturday's classes, the thing is we put the videos in the portal. Watch the videos because we have self-paced. Self-paced will help you. Then we have the live class. So even if you miss a live class, you can watch the replays, but make sure you attend at least one class. So we say attend one class. If you can't attend two, because yes, we understand people are working. This program is built for working professionals. People are already maybe doing something. They are busy. You're not just idle all the time. You don't have all the time in the world. So yes, we understand that. If you miss a class, watch the replay. So as long as you can commit to one of the classes, then it's good. Because if you can commit to one of the classes, then it means for the class you can attend, you will bring your questions there and we can support you. Okay, Willonia is asking if we can share the curriculum. Okay, join the WhatsApp group. So the person responding on Zoom, you can see her name as Amaka Ene. She's Nancy. She would she's the one putting up the WhatsApp group and she will chat you up afterwards. Wilona, you're asking for the curriculum. Any other questions before we call it a day? For those of you who will be joining the program, looking forward to having you there. The next cohort starts August 29th. For those of you who will be joining, looking forward to having you in class. I'm just reading the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, yeah, Shegun, I see where you wrote the comments. If you can raise up your hands and I call you. Yeah, okay, thank you. But I didn't see that earlier on. Let me see. Is it data and AI governance? Is data governance. We introduce you to AI governance, but AI governance is a whole field on its own. So it's a full training on its own. And we don't have that yet. That's coming before the end of the year. I'm just checking all the questions to make sure I didn't miss anything. But if I missed your question, please feel free, raise up your hand or unmute and ask your question. Okay, I see 2 hands are up. Shade, you have your hand up. I hope I pronounced your name properly. Please go ahead, Shade.
Yeah, I want to ask about
I have a certificate in data analysis. Is it the same thing as yours? I just want to confirm. Is it
What
something
certificate do
similar
you have? So
on
what
data
certificate do you have?
analysis? Data analysis.
From what body?
No, it's not. I went to like an educational learning
The
center.
training.
Yeah,
Okay, so you
training.
have a certificate, not a certification. They are two different things.
Okay,
So you
okay.
have,
Like it's
yeah,
yeah, I
so
have a certificate.
a
Is it the same
certificate,
thing?
it can't be the same because a certificate just says that you attended that particular school. So I don't know
Okay,
what the
okay.
school, do you understand?
Okay,
So
I
it's not
understand.
the same. Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't teach us anything about AI or data governance or anything, but they
No,
taught us
data
Tableau.
analytics.
They
Data
taught us.
analytics is different.
Okay, okay,
It's different, yes. They are
okay,
two different roles.
okay, okay,
Mm,
okay. That's all I want to know.
okay.
Thank you
Any
so
other
much.
questions? I see Dominion, your hand is still up, but I'm guessing that was from before. Any other questions? All right, so I'll say thank you everyone for your
Can you
time.
check the chats? We have 2 questions there.
Okay, deadline to pay. The program starts on the 29th. So as quickly as you can pay your at least a commitment fee, that helps us keep your seats because our discount price, remember our full price is $1,997. So usually we just, for each cohort, we have like a few students, we give the discount rate. So if you pay, the earlier you pay, maybe pay a commitment fee, $300, that's commitment fee. If you can pay that and then before the program starts, you can add to it. So the earlier you pay, the better for you too, because that helps us lock in your price. Can the payment be stretched to week 6? For special considerations, you have to reach out to us. Well, typically we don't like that because we've been burned several times. We've been burned. You give people special consideration and then it's online. It gets to that time, you start hearing more stories, So we've been burnt a lot of times. So that's why we just have a hard stop and say by week 4, complete all the payments so that nobody feels cheated, right? Because I show up for every class and the way I've shown up today and I stay and I answer questions and you pick my brain as much as you want. I show up and so I should be compensated, right? My team too should be compensated. And so that's why we're firm on it because of our bad experience in the past. But I would say reach out to us. Just reach out. You can reach out to the admin. And if you're in the WhatsApp group, she's on the WhatsApp group. She's the admin on the WhatsApp group. And I'm also an admin on the WhatsApp group, but I prefer if you reach out to her first. She's been the one posting things, then she can give me reminders. Because personally, my WhatsApp is always busy. And I may not respond to you as fast as she would. She would respond to you faster. So it's best to reach out to her. Any other questions before we call it a day? So thank you all so much for your time. It's been an engaging session. And for those of you who will be joining the program, I do look forward to having you in class. And for the rest of you, I wish you all the best in your journeys and I hope you find what you're looking for. Bye for now.